Hello, my name is Eli Oglesby, and the concert I attended was the UA and Jazz Compo on November 19th in the Frank Moody Music Hall. The first songs that they played were it was a Scotch and Water, Nardis, Recorded Me, Blues for Alice, You Knew All Along, and Walked Bad, Maiden Voyage, and Anthropology. Um, the first set used drums, saxophone, two trombones, a vibraphone, guitar, bass, and piano. The first song they played was Scotch and Water. The beginning started with more of a fast tempo, high pitched dynamics, joyful. It was mostly a saxophone solo to begin with a little drum and piano support behind it. The vibraphone gets its own solo in the song as well. It's a little quieter but keeps the same tempo. And the bass gets a tempo. It's a bit of a lower pitched sound. Overall, the song was pretty nice. But the next song was Nardis, which started out with just guitar playing. It was fast pitched. The trombones and saxophone join in and make more of a lower pitched sound. One trombone then gets its own solo played with a slower tempo, lower pitched sound. The piano and drums and saxophone then once again pick up the pace with more of a faster tempo, crescendo. The song ends with a lot slower tempo and pitch from the trombone and the drums especially. Next song they played was Recorded Me, where the beginning has a lower pitched rhythmic pattern with the trombone and saxophone. The guitar steadily increases the tempo. All instruments playing at once has a high pitched tune with steady fast tempo. Also, it had more of a joyous mood than the other previous two songs in this Recorded Me song. The vibraphone had a nice high pitched sound to it. I noticed specifically in this song. The bass added more of a low pitched tune, but was accompanied by a higher note with the piano that evened the tunes out. I really enjoyed the drum trombone combo during this song. It was really nice. Uh, the next song was Blues for Alice. The first part of this song was mainly the saxophone playing low pitch, and eventually it was accompanied by the trombones. The guitar had a big solo of the song along with the saxophone. They each had their own separate extended solos throughout. Um, this song was a little shorter than the other songs, with a very nice saxophone solo at the end. The next song, You Knew All Along, starts with an interesting lower pitched pattern from the guitar and one of the trombones. A lot slower tempo from the rest of the songs to this point. This it brought a dark and gloomy emotion to it, especially with the slower tempo. A lot of saxophones and trombones in this song. The light drum in the background made it more slow and dark and gloomy, like I just previously mentioned. And it ends with the trombone solo. The next song, In Walked Bad, was significantly faster than the previous song. Had a lot of drum and trombone play. The vibraphone keeps up the higher tempo and with even higher pitched sound in their solo. I noticed the performers seemed to play with even more emotion in this song, more joyful, upbeat. The bass got a solo in the song, which significantly lowered the pitch for a minute. But yeah, that's how that song ended. The Maiden Voyage. This song, like as it's named, the Voyage. It kind of had more of a journey vibe to it, like they're going somewhere. I guess that's where it got its name from. Started with the trombone, with the drum and the saxophone combo. Trombones added a slower tempo to the song. The trumpet introduced in this song, which it replaced one of the trombones and was much higher pitch, had its own solo, and like it crescendoed throughout in tempo, but not by much. And then the last song for the jazz combo was the Anthropology at very fast tempo by all the instruments to begin, and mostly the drum and the trombone was what kept the tempo throughout. Next, the vibraphone played. Saxophone steps in after the vibraphone, sticking with the fast tempo that was seen throughout. Each trombone member precedes the saxophone. After the saxophone, each trombone member had their own little solo, and it ended with a slow drum and trombone play. After this song, Anthropology, they had a little intermission moment where they switched from the jazz combo to the jazz lab band with a director and a kind of a more traditional orchestra, I would say. In the jazz lab band, they had five saxophones, three trumpets, four trombones, two guitars, an electric guitar, and the drums. And the first song they played was called Cherokee. The low pitched trumpets to start, then trombones and trumpets had low pitch, so it started off really low compared to what mostly the jazz combo played. It had kind of a free emotion to it, like they just been free or looking towards freedom. Um, One of the trombone players stands and has a solo by himself. The trombones were in the middle in the orchestra, the saxophones on the bottom, and then they had the trumpets on the top. The saxophone proceeded with their own little lower pitch solo by herself, and another saxophone player plays more of a higher tempo solo accompanied with steady drums in the background. The whole brass section played and finished with the trumpets in this song. The next song, which was one of my favorites throughout the whole concert, was Go Go. It started with the lower pitched drums song, and it's a lot slower pitched with slower tempo. It has the emotion of like going on a mission, like they're trying to get something done. Uh, One trombone player plays a steady rhythm in the beginning that I enjoyed, and another trumpet solo up top. My favorite part of the concert was actually the saxophone that had more of a deeper low pitch, and I think he did a great job on the saxophone solo. The electric guitar after the saxophone solo added a nice background piece to the other saxophones. I really just enjoyed this whole song. It was definitely my favorite of the concert. It made me more upbeat. Uh, the next song I think he mentioned was the director mentioned was wrote by one of his friends called Wally Gator. It had a heavy drum beat to begin. Saxophones and trumpets play high pitch but keep the tempo slower. There was joyful emotion to this Wally Gator song. There was a saxophone solo followed by a trumpet solo. It kept them solos kept high pitched but kept the tempos to a steady, moderate pace. There was a lot of brass playing this song. The next song after Wally Gator was Misty. It had a very slow tempo and low pitch to begin. Had a gloomy emotion to it, more like a misty night, I guess. Um, it was carried mostly by the trombones, and the trumpets then began to play, bring in a naturally higher pitch because the trumpets play higher pitch mostly. But it continued with the gloomy emotion throughout. In the next song, it was called "Work Soft." It had a slower tempo, but gradually crescendos in the beginning. It was low pitched, but then proceeds to go higher. Trumpets are significantly used in this song. The saxophone brings the pitch and tempo back down a bit from the higher pitched trumpets. Uh, the trombone solo then begins, and then low pitch from the rest of the solo, then speeds up a lot from the trumpet and saxophone. But the song is pretty much slow. It kept going back and forth gradually. Next was the Fat Cat song. Um, had a lot of slow tempo, low pitched saxophone in the beginning with high pitched trumpet in the background. Saxophone then crescendo in tempo, went faster. The saxophone solo that reminds a lot of what I thought of as traditional jazz going into the concert. And then another saxophone solo that's very low pitched was added afterwards. And then the trumpets then play high pitch with faster tempo. And the last song of the night was the song for Bilbao. It had a very fast tempo, high pitched sound, especially from the trumpet and trombone. The trombones then toned down the pitch a little bit. Saxophones in the front add a lower pitched theme to the song. However, the tempo is very fast throughout most of the song. Low pitched drum solo and high pitched trumpets ended the concert and the song. Um, but yeah, the concert I thought was a very joyful experience, especially in the first half. But I think the second half might have actually been better with the jazz lab band. I like the orchestra with the saxophones and the trumpets. I think it added a different mood from the beginning. And I really enjoyed this concert actually, and I would recommend it to other people to check out the jazz combo band and the jazz lab band. I think they were really good. But yeah, that's how my concert went. Thank you.